I'm Lorena, and today I want to talk to you about happiness. It's something that everybody wants, but that not everybody knows how to get. There are 10 things that I do consistently that help me to choose happiness every day. Yes, you heard me right. I choose happiness every day, and I know that you can too, because happiness at the end of the day is a choice, and at the beginning of the day too. So I put together a list of these 10 things so that I can share them with you because they've helped me significantly change the way that I see life and how happy I am at any given moment and on any given day. So the first thing that I would recommend to do every single morning before you wake up or before you get out of bed, and every single night before you go to bed, is practice gratitude. Because so many of us walk around on a daily basis not really thinking about all of the things in our lives that we take for granted that millions of people don't have, like a roof over your head, even if it's not your own, food on your table, even if it's not your table, fresh or clean water to drink, because so many millions of people in this world don't have that. So those are just a few basic things that us first worlders have in our lives that people in developing countries don't have. So be grateful. There is so much to be grateful for. Another thing that you can do is have some go-to mantras and affirmations. I've said it before, I was never big on affirmations, but over time, somehow they crept their way into my life anyway and have been making a significant impact. Now, I'm not the kind of person that puts up post-it notes all over my house saying you're beautiful, even though there's nothing wrong with that. I just am more of a silent affirmation repeater. I like to say affirmations and mantras in my head to help me stay focused, stay on track, and stay happy. So I have these affirmations that I've been saying for quite some time now, for years. I think even before I wanted to admit that they were affirmations, but they are: I am extremely smart, I am incredibly talented, and I am uniquely attractive. That last one's a little weird, but I think that it's important to love yourself for how you look and to recognize your differences. As much as we are all connected and so many of us are similar, we are all very, very unique in our own ways. So appreciate that about yourself. And then the mantras are things that I repeat to myself in situations where I feel like I am not fully in control. But ultimately, the mantras bring me back in. They reel me back in. There are two mantras that I repeat when I'm anxious, which are: I am safe and I have nothing to fear. But I have other ones too. There's one that I really love that is a mantra that I learned from Marie Forleo, who is amazing. If you don't know who she is, please Google her or look her up on YouTube. She has Marie TV and a podcast and just awesome interviews, so many good things from her. And she has a book that's called Everything is Figureoutable that was released, I believe, earlier this year. And that's a mantra that I picked up from her. Everything is figureoutable. And that's helped me get through a lot, especially recently. I say it all the time to myself, and it's how I've been able to be more productive and also not be so hard on myself, because I realize that everything is figureoutable. So no matter what I'm going through, if I just give myself the opportunity to think about creative solutions and I sit back and I calm myself down, realizing that no matter what, I'll get to the solution, the figureoutable part, that helps me just calm down and get to what I need to be doing to figure it out. So thanks, Marie, for that. Like, that's been a real life changer for me. I do have some other mantras that I say to myself here and there. I am a very hurried person naturally. So another mantra I like to say is, there is no rush. Or I'll remind myself to slow down. Sometimes I'm doing things and I'm like, why are you rushing? Slow down. And doing that helps me be in the present moment a lot and remember that there is time to take my time. Another tip that I'd like to share that will help you choose happiness every day is to not compare yourself to others. That's also something that I've mentioned before. Social media can be the worst. Now, I didn't say that it is the worst. I said that it can be the worst. It can be very useful. It's extremely beneficial to have social media in so many situations. But I want to say that more often than not, so many of us just scroll through social media looking at other people's lives, or at least the picture that they want to paint of their lives, and comparing ourselves to those people. And most of the time, they aren't even people that we truly, honestly care about, which is the worst part. We're letting ourselves be influenced by the way that someone portrays their life to be. And It's so easy to get sucked into that and to think that you aren't where you should be or where you could be, or to think that someone else's life is better than yours. Comparison is the thief of joy. And in my case, a lot of times it has been the killer of dreams. I have started projects and looked at people who've been at it forever and compared myself to those people and just felt like, man, there's no way that I could ever accomplish what they've accomplished, not considering that those people started somewhere too. But a lot of times it throws me off track. It derails me and makes me feel like I won't ever get to that place anyway. What's the point in even trying to compete? Because you're so much better than I will ever be. And I'm comparing myself, this beginner, to this person who's already extremely successful in what they're doing. Or even if they're like, they've got some mediocre success, it's more than what I've got. And so I start to compare myself and I make myself believe that I can't be like that person. And I catch myself, I know when I'm doing it, which is part of the reason that I'm not on social media frequently, actually. I can't handle it because I naturally go into that mode, and having a universe of comparison at my fingertips is not good for me. I live so much happier when I'm not comparing myself to other people. But this isn't just about social media, because we can compare ourselves to just anybody, to our neighbors, to our classmates, to our coworkers and colleagues, to our partners, to our friends. There are so many ways to compare yourself to people, and so many different kinds of people you can compare yourself to. So don't do it. Either way, whether it makes you feel better about yourself or whether it makes you feel worse about yourself, either way, it's not going to make you happy. So choose to not compare yourself to others, and you're choosing to be one step closer to happiness. This next one is super important, and it is to make sure you take time for yourself every single day. Do something for you. Do something that fills your heart with joy, even if it's just for a short period of time in that day. Give yourself a break to be with yourself. That could be doing anything from taking a walk, to taking a little bit longer in the shower, to taking a relaxing bath, to going to wash your hair. I don't know, just anything that brings you a little bit of joy. Do it every single day. And the more of that you can do in a day, the more you should do. I encourage you to fill your cup as much as possible so that it can overflow and you can help others with compassion and with love and with joy and pure happiness, because you've already filled your cup. It's kind of like when you're on an airplane and before the flight takes off, the flight attendant says for you to put on your oxygen mask before helping someone else with their oxygen mask in the case of an emergency. It's because if you don't have enough oxygen and you pass out, how are you going to help your kid or your husband or your wife? How are you going to save people if you can't save yourself? So always make time for yourself. Fill your cup, and then that will bring you a little bit closer to happiness. This next tip is also in the realm of self-love, and it is to be gentle with yourself. We are our own worst critic. A lot of times we're so hard on ourselves unnecessarily, and we judge ourselves because we think that other people are judging us in that way, and we think that other people are judging us in that way because we are actually judging other people in that way. And we're judging other people in that way because we are projecting and actually judging ourselves for how we are, which is where we started, right? So it's this cycle of judgment, and it makes us feel terrible because we judge ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. So take time to be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge when you're not being the nicest to you. And what you can do about that is change how you're talking about yourself, change how you're talking to yourself, believe in yourself, and be nice to you. I saw a quote somewhere once, and I'm totally going to misquote this because I don't have it prepared anywhere, but it said something like, you talk to yourself more than anybody else in a day, so be nice. And it's true. You're in your own head, and if you're beating yourself down and things are happening outside of you that you can't control, that's a recipe for just feeling bad. So the more gentle you are with yourself and the more you give yourself compassion and affection and appreciation, the happier you're going to be because you love you first. So the next thing that I highly recommend to help you choose happiness every day is sitting in silence for a certain period of time every single day. And I know that might sound difficult for some people because I get it. We have kids, we have pets, we have things going on around us. So it's difficult for us to just be in peace and quiet, especially when people are like, I can't meditate 30 minutes. I get you. I get you. I have a baby girl and she takes up a lot of my time. So what I started doing is waking up earlier than I was originally waking up so that I could have time for myself. And in that time that I have to myself, I make sure to carve out a little bit of time for silent meditation. And I might only have 5 minutes, I might have 15 minutes, I might have 20 minutes, I might have 10 minutes. It varies day to day. And that's okay. The important thing is that I get that time to myself. It really helps me clear my mind and starts my day off right. So do what you gotta do. It could be 5 more minutes in the shower. It could be 5 minutes on your drive home from work, or on your way to work, or during your lunch break, or if you are at home with your kids all day like I am, maybe you step outside to the patio when they take a nap, or when they're so distracted, to the backyard or the front yard or right outside your doorstep, and just breathe and take those 5 minutes for you. And if you have more than 5 minutes, go for it. A little bit of silence every day is going to help you a lot. Another thing that will help you is moving your body every single day. You could take a walk, you could take a run, you could have a dance party with your kids, you could stretch in the morning, stretch at night, anything. Just get your blood flowing. You'll see that'll help you improve your mood, and you might even crave it after a while. I know that after I got into the habit of moving my body every day, it was harder to get through the days that I didn't move my body. And it might seem difficult to schedule in for some people, or it might seem like such a daunting task to move your body every single day, but it really doesn't have to be so hard. Just make sure you're not sitting on the sofa all day, or in your bed all day, or just being stationary. Get up, get your juices flowing. If you're on the phone, pace around. Just get the body moving so that your body can function the way it needs to. Which brings me to the next point. Hydrate. 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 Why hydrate? What does that have to do with anything? It helps keep your body in flow. In addition to moving your body, you should also be drinking enough water, which sounds so simple because it is so simple. It might seem like out of place advice because now I'm talking about drinking water, hydration. What does that have to do with being happy? You'd be surprised how much of a difference it would make to drink water every single day. At least half of your weight in ounces is what I've learned over time. And doing that, man, that can make a huge difference in your life. Now, I know people are like, well, I don't drink water, but I drink iced tea, or I drink juice, or I drink soda. Yeah, it's not the same. I am sorry to break it to you. And it still baffles my mind when people say they don't like water. Water is like the most essential thing to life in general, like across the board, all over the planet, not just human life. It is so important for your body to get some clean, clear water as often as possible so that it can function properly. Another thing that you should be doing to be happy every day, in conjunction with moving your body and drinking enough water, is being conscious of what you consume. And I'm going to start off by talking about food, but consumption isn't just food-based. It could be anything. So keep that in mind. First, I'll talk about food. Food is our body's fuel, and you want to give your body the best kind of fuel there is. So try to eat quality foods as much as you can. Every time that you're going to eat something, you're making a decision, and you can decide to eat something that's on the healthier scale. Even if you're not eating healthy meals every single meal, at least making an attempt to keep a balance between healthy and questionable or not so healthy helps you get to a good place. And what I have found is the healthier I eat, the more I want to eat healthy. And the same with body movement. The more I move my body, the more I want to move my body. Start to find balance over time so that you find your happy place, but just be sure that there are energy-rich foods in your diet and that you're eating stuff that makes your body feel good. In addition to food, we're also talking about media consumption, because we are surrounded by different sources of media all day long. And I'm not just talking about the news, I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about radio, whoever still listens to that. I'm talking about podcasts. I'm talking about any kind of content out there that we can listen to, read, watch, etc., etc. It's so important to pay attention to what you're consuming, what your brain is consuming. Believe it or not, that does affect how we feel. that also affects how we behave. And if we're not consuming things that are going to help us develop and that inspire us, then we're consuming anything else. And I already kind of talked about this when I said that social media is basically the hub for comparison. But every time that you are scrolling through your news feeds and you're reading what's happening in the world, or you're scrolling through your Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you are taking time and energy away from yourself and from your life, and you're inviting the outside world into your world and into your energy space. So whatever energy comes up for you when you're consuming those things will kind of stick with you, you know? So if you want to be happy and you want to be inspired, then consume content that is happy and inspiring. And again, keep balance. If there's really stuff out there, like you really love social media, then you don't have to give it up altogether. Like I love social media, but I just don't spend all day on it. I limit my time on it. And when I am on it, I make sure that I am looking at content that's inspiring, that's going to help me grow, or that's going to make me smile and laugh. The last thing that I'm going to suggest is journaling. And I mean, like, just letting the pen hit the paper and whatever comes out, comes out. I think it's called conscious stream writing or journaling, something like that. But it's basically just you letting out whatever is in your mind. And a lot of times that helps us unload the things that we are keeping locked up inside and that we're suppressing, or that we aren't able to process properly as we're flowing through the day. Journaling can help you process your emotions and process the things that you've been through, and it can help you see different perspectives, and it can also just change your entire mood. So those are the 10 things that I recommend you do consistently to help you choose happiness every day. It's 10 things, so it might seem like a lot, but I guarantee you, if you take your time and maybe implement one at a time, you could ultimately see yourself doing all of these things regularly and consistently in your life and being happy every day because you choose to be. If you have any questions about any of these tips, or if you have any tips of your own and suggestions, then please feel free to leave me a comment below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you liked the video, and to subscribe so that you can see all of my videos that I will be posting on a weekly basis. Until next time.